There's something in your backyard right now, a simple black hose, and it can heat water to temperatures that would scald your skin without a single watt of electricity, without natural gas, without even a basic solar panel. Just rubber and sunlight. I'm Keiz Shimada, and for the past decade I've been documenting the methods industries bury when they work too well. This one? It's been hidden for over a century, and the plumbing industry has spent billions making sure you never connect these dots. What I'm about to show you was standard knowledge in 1891. Then it vanished. Not because it failed, but because it succeeded so completely that it threatened a revenue stream now worth $60 billion annually. Picture this. Every month, you pay to heat water. Gas bill, electric bill, service contracts, emergency repairs, when the tank fails at midnight. You've been trained to believe this cycle is unavoidable. It's not. The solution costs $1 and sits coiled in storage sheds across America. Ignored. Let me take you back to a workshop in Baltimore, 1891. A tinsmith named Clarence Kemp stood over a metal tank he'd painted black, placed inside a wooden box with a glass lid. He filled it with cold water at dawn. By 2 in the afternoon, without lighting a match or turning a valve, that water was hot enough to brew tea, wash dishes, scald skin on contact. Kemp wasn't a scientist. He was a metalworker who understood something the modern energy cartels have spent over a century trying to erase from public memory. Dark surfaces convert solar radiation directly into thermal energy. No moving parts, no combustion, no monthly fee. Kemp called his device the Climax solar water heater and began selling it door to door across the American South. By 1900, over 1,600 Climax units were heating household water across Southern California alone. Entire neighborhoods ran hot baths, cleaned clothes, washed dishes using water the sun heated for free every single day. The gas companies watched their projected revenues collapse in real time. And they did not sit idle. But here's what nobody mentions in the history books. Kemp wasn't even the first to discover this. Japanese villages had been heating communal baths in wooden barrels painted black since the 1700s. Persian engineers carved passive. Solar channels into dark stone that delivered warm water to entire villages without flame. Egyptian nobles filled shallow clay basins each morning, and by evening the desert sun had turned that water steaming hot for their nightly rituals. Roman bathhouses deliberately routed lead pipes across sun-exposed stone terraces to preheat water before it reached the furnaces below. For 2,000 years, every civilization that touched running water arrived at the same conclusion independently. Dark pipe plus sunlight equals free hot water. The physics never changed, not once across 2 millennia. What changed was who profited from controlling the narrative around that physics. By the 1920s, natural gas companies lobbied state governments to rewrite residential plumbing codes. Solar thermal methods were quietly reclassified as non-standard. That single word meant no licensed plumber in America could legally install a passive solar water system without risking their professional certification. Utility companies funded campaigns convincing homeowners that solar heating was primitive, unreliable, beneath the dignity of a modern household. Plumbing trade associations removed every reference to solar thermal from their training manuals. And Clarence Kemp's Climax disappeared into patent archives nobody was meant to open again. The industry made one critical mistake. You cannot bury physics, you cannot lobby away the electromagnetic spectrum, and you absolutely cannot stop sunlight from heating a black rubber hose full of water, regardless of how many billions you spend trying. Today, a garden hose from any hardware store does exactly what Kemp's invention did 130 years ago. In some ways, it does it better. I've spent months compiling everything the plumbing industry doesn't want in public hands. Temperature charts showing exactly how hot your water gets by hour, by season, by latitude. Connection diagrams for outdoor showers, camp kitchens, off-grid cabins. The documented evidence of how building codes were rewritten to block passive solar. Material lists that will make licensed plumbers deeply uncomfortable. But stay here, because the science behind this $1 trick is where things get truly shocking. A standard 50-foot black garden hose holds approximately 1.3 gallons of water. Left coiled in direct sunlight on a dark surface for just 2 hours on a summer day, that water reaches between 120 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hotter than most residential water heaters in America are factory set to deliver. The U.S. Department of Energy recommends setting home water heaters to 120 to prevent scalding. Your $1 garden hose in July exceeds that with zero electricity, zero gas, zero monthly cost. A 2019 study from the University of Arizona measured water temperatures inside black polyethylene tubing, exposed to direct desert sunlight. Peak readings hit 152 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to cause third-degree burns in under 2 seconds. The researchers noted this level of thermal gain required no reflectors, no insulation, no mechanical components whatsoever, just black tubing in the sun. Now think about what that means for your household budget. The average American family spends between $400 and $600 every single year just to heat water, roughly 18% of the entire home energy bill. Over 10 years, a family of 4 burns through $4,000 to $6,000 on water heating alone. Every single dollar flows to gas utilities and electric companies who have known since 1891 that a black hose in the sun does the same job for nothing. If the science is this simple and the history stretches back 2,000 years, why isn't a $1 solar water heater standard equipment in every American home? Why do families still burn $500 annually heating water when a garden hose in the sun does it for free? Here's where the story turns ugly. The water heater manufacturing industry in the United States alone generates over $28 billion in annual revenue. That number only covers hardware. Add gas utility fees, electric bills, plumber service calls, annual maintenance contracts, and the total ecosystem built around heating your water exceeds $60 billion every single year. $60 billion flowing through a system that depends entirely on one thing: your belief that you need their product to get hot water. The moment you coil a black garden hose on your roof and connect it to your shower, you exit that entire system permanently. You take your $500 a year with you. You cannot patent a garden hose sitting in the sun because the concept existed 2,000 years before patent law. You cannot create a subscription model for sunlight because nobody owns the electromagnetic spectrum. You cannot charge monthly maintenance for a coil of rubber tubing with no moving parts, no filters, no electronics, nothing that can break or wear out. That's precisely why this method had to be erased from public knowledge with surgical precision. The mechanism was elegant in its cruelty and unfolded over decades. First, the gas industry lobby pushed state legislators to rewrite residential plumbing codes throughout the 1920s and 30s. Solar thermal methods were reclassified as non-standard. Then trade schools removed passive solar heating from plumbing curriculums entirely by the 1950s. An entire generation of plumbers graduated without ever hearing Clarence Kemp's name. By the 1970s, when the oil crisis hit and millions of Americans desperately searched for energy alternatives, almost nobody remembered the answer had been sitting in backyards since 1891. The industry didn't hide this because it was dangerous. They hid it because it was free. And free is the one thing a $60 billion system cannot survive. Here's exactly how to build your own. Buy a standard 50-foot black garden hose, 3/4-inch diameter for maximum water volume. The cheapest one on the shelf works perfectly. If only green hoses are available, wrap it in black electrical tape or spray it with flat black paint. $2 a can. Coil the hose into a flat spiral on any surface, getting direct sunlight for at least 4 to 6 hours daily. South-facing roof sections work best, but concrete patios, wooden platforms, even sheets of plywood painted black will do the job. Elevate the coil at least 3 feet above the point where you want hot water to flow out. Gravity does the work an electric pump would normally do. No pump, no electricity, no cost, no monthly bill ever. Connect the input end to your outdoor spigot or rain barrel using a standard connector. Connect the output to wherever you want hot water delivered. For outdoor showers, attach a simple shower head adapter for under $5. For camp kitchens, run the output through a basic ball valve to control flow rate. Wait 2 hours. On a sunny day between May and September in most of the continental United States, water coming out of that hose will be between 120 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. A full hot shower powered by nothing except sunlight hitting black rubber. Total system cost, between $1 and $8 depending on what you already own. Compare that to average tank water heater installation, costing between $800 and $2,000 up front, plus $40 to $60 monthly in gas or electricity for the rest of its operational life. Over 5 years, the garden hose system pays for itself roughly 600 times over. That ratio is so absurd the industry literally cannot allow you to know it exists. I need to be completely honest about one limitation. This system performs best in warm, sunny climates between April and October. In northern states during deep winter, output temperatures will drop. This method alone won't fully replace a conventional water heater year-round. But here's what actually matters. Even in moderate climates, this $1 hose can eliminate 60 to 80% of annual water heating costs by handling all warm season demand entirely for free. That's still $300 to $400 back in your pocket annually from a device costing less than gas station coffee. For off-grid camping, van life, overlanding, backcountry expeditions, this isn't just money savings, it's unlimited hot water anywhere the sun shines. This knowledge didn't die. It waited in dusty patent offices, forgotten history books, the muscle memory of cultures that heated water for thousands of years before anyone thought to sell a water heater. The physics never changed. The sun still rises every morning. A black hose still turns cold water into hot water exactly the way it did for Clarence Kemp in 1891, and for Roman engineers 2,000 years before him. The only thing that changed was who controlled the story. Now you control it.